Hello everyone and welcome. It's Shanna. So glad you're here today. Now today we've got a new release from Simon Hurley. We have got the number balloons and there are 11 of those stamps and they are the cling rubber stamps and we've got the coordinating dies that go with them and you've got the stems for the balloons as well. And then I've also got the Snappy Birthday stamp and die set that is newly released. And you've got Oh Snap, It's Your Birthday, Snappy Birthday, I'm Only Here for the Cake, You're a Party Animal, and Thank You for Always Lifting Me Up. So we're just going to stamp one of these stamps up. And we're going to play with some of these balloons and create a quick card. So hope you'll follow along to the end. I'm actually going to do a little card for a 4-year-old. I'm going to use the I'm Only Here for the Cake alligator and sentiment, and we're going to get it stamped down, and we're going to do a little bit of coloring, and we're going to stamp our rubber cling stamp balloons, and we're going to add some shine to those. So I hope you'll watch to the end and see how it turns out. I've actually already made my card for the little 4-year-old that's going to have his birthday. He's big into planets in the solar system, but I usually supply cards to my sister and my mom for birthdays, and so I thought I'd go ahead and prepare another 4-year-old card with this cute set, and so that's what we're going to do on today's video. And we're just going to make a colorful primary colored card and just use this little alligator with a little sentiment and add the little balloons with a little shine to the card. So I'm just using some VersaFine Clair green ink, and we're going to have this alligator, and so I thought we'll just start with the green ink and then just add our coloring with it. So I'm just going to get it stamped down, and this ink stamps really clear and very nicely, so you can usually get a really good press with it. So I've got that, and I'm also going to, I think I'm going to clean this off, and while we've got our Misty out, I think we'll bring in a panel and we'll go ahead and stamp our balloons. Now for that, you need to take the foam mat out of your Misty because these are thick. They're thicker than the photopolymer stamps that you use. And I've got some just thin cardstock here. I mistakenly ordered some that is just too thin, and so I'm going to be using it for different things. But anyway, I'm going to bring in the number 4 because he'll be turning 4, and then I'm going to bring in the balloon, the star balloon, and we'll be using those. And I'm going to use that same green ink for both of these, and then when we get toward the end of the video, I'm going to change it up a little bit, and you'll see what I wind up doing. So I'm just going to get these inked up really well, and we will just give them a press. So while I'm doing this, we'll just have a little bit of story time. I think I've shared with you guys that I had come out of retirement and taken a position and worked several months, and then decided that the needs of the family were becoming important, and so decided to step back. Anyway, so I've just got a couple more days left, and I mean, today I was in meetings the entire day, and I was exhausted. And when I was on my way home, Pat texted me and said, "What do you want to eat?" And I said, "I don't know. I'm starving and I'm exhausted." I said, "How about chili?" Pat is a really great chili maker, and that's kind of one of his specialties. And so he's like, "Yeah, sure." So as I was driving home, I have a little bit of a drive, he was preparing the chili. And so when I got home, he had it all ready. And I said, I've got to take a nap. In fact, I'd laid down a little bit while he was making the grilled cheese. We had grilled cheese with it. It was yummy. And I didn't go to sleep. But he said, "Well, do you want me to wake you when it's ready?" And I was like, "Sure." And I hadn't fallen asleep anyway. But so now I'm just getting these. I'm going to get these die cut out so that we'll have our balloons. But anyway, I said, I'm going to go ahead and eat. And then I think I'll, maybe try to take a nap. But I'm not a napper. But I was just zonked. Anyway, so we ate, enjoyed the chili and the grilled cheese sandwiches, and then I laid down on the couch and fell asleep for 2 hours. I am not a napper, and to take a 2-hour nap is very unusual for me, and I'm wondering if I'm going to sleep tonight since I did that. But anyway, it's actually 9:30 now, and I'm still full of energy from my nap. So we're going to get these die cut out. And then we've got a lot of our elements for our card ready to go. So you see they stamped beautifully, and they've got just kind of that bubbled, it's like the Mylar balloons is what this is. It's kind of got that Mylar balloon look, and the way that they're drawn, it creates kind of the shiny look on them just in and of the stamping. But I'm going to bring in some things to kind of accentuate them. And so I've got my little panel here, and I just need to bring in some ink and just start coloring it up. So I'm just going to do some very simple coloring. I've got Copic markers, and I've just got kind of primary colors, and I'm just going to fill it in. And I'll actually, I'm coloring this now, and I actually will color it a second time off camera because I actually wind up messing up the panel, and so I'll die cut out and layer up. But we'll talk about that when we get to it. But I'm just using some green, some blue, some yellow, and some red, and just coloring this little alligator in. And I am just starting a collection of Copic markers, and this was the only true red that I have, and it's just too stark. And this is part of the reason why I will stamp it again off camera and then die cut it and replace it. But just because I thought the red was just a little too stark, I tried to bring in some Jelly Roll white to kind of add some highlights to it to try and fix it, but I don't like it. So once I get going on here, I will restamp and color it again and add it. So I'm bringing in a piece of not too shabby pattern paper. It is double-sided. It's just a 6x6 piece, but I thought this was a fun primary color piece that would go nice with the alligator and the balloons and just the kind of the color scheme I've got. I've made a card base out of Cosmic Sky Spellbinders cardstock, and I'm going to take a white panel and create a little frame using this new set from Spellbinders, and I will link everything in the description box below. It makes a beautiful scalloped frame. I'm going to use it for the inside of the card since I decided to bring in a Cosmic Sky card base. We're going to need somewhere where we can write on the inside, so I thought I'd just die cut this out, and it'll be pretty on the inside, and there'll be a nice little space to write your birthday message on there. And so I'm just going to get it laid down on there, and we've got the inside ready for a message. So we'll give it a press because the Spellbinders cardstock is good thick stuff, so I need to press it. Just going to line this up. We're just doing some simple layering on this. And I'll bring in my glue press, and you can see it's got rain boots on the back side of this pattern paper. But I like the kind of the primary colored squares for my card today, and I thought it would look nice. Now my glue press must have left the lid off of it because it was wouldn't work. So I used the tape runner. Now I'm coming back in with some glue, so I'll have some movability, and that way I can get it lined up nice and move it around as I need to on my card base. And then I've got some poppy colored cardstock that I'm just going to frame this panel out, and we're gluing it on there and everything. And even though I am gonna redo the alligator, and I'm just gonna give it a little press, and we're gonna get it laid down on our card base once I get it lined up correctly. And it sounds like it's torrential rain outside right now. I can hear the rain coming down. We've had quite a bit of rain for several days now. So I'm just going to get this lined up and try to get it centered on my panel. And then we've got our two little Mylar balloons. We've got the star and then the number 4. And I've got two different strings for the balloons. One is wavy and one is straight. And I'm going to fiddle around with her. I'm thinking, how do I get these to fit on here? This is not what I wind up doing with it, but sometimes you just have to play around to figure out what you're trying to do. And I'm going to do this, but I'm actually going to do it on the other side. So I decided that it'd be fun to give these some shine. So I'm going to bring in my glossy accents, and I'm just going to glossy these all up. And then you'll notice I'll have a wardrobe change in the second half of the video, because when you put this much glossy accent on, you need to walk away from it. And that is exactly what I did. I loaded this up and walked away from it. In fact, I went next door and visited with my dad. And then the next day I came in, and these babies are all glossied up and they're bubbled. They've got a nice little texture to them, and they're nice and shiny, and I think they're going to add a fun element. But what I did was I had put some glossy accent on. I thought the two greens didn't look nice together, so I brought in another 4 and I glossy accented it and let it dry. And then I had put some on that panel that I had first created where I stamped right on the panel, and I didn't like it. It didn't look good. So I stamped another alligator and recolored it in. I used pink for the tongue instead of that bright red, and I liked it a little bit better. I put a little glossy accent on the little ball on the party hat and on the cake to add some shine to the icing on the cake. And then we're going to lay the green one down, and then we're going to layer the red one up on it. And I like the contrast of the two colors rather than having two green laying on top of each other. I think the red pops nicely off of the green. And we've got our number 4 for our 4-year-old. And we've got our little star balloon. And we've got the cute little alligator and the sentiment that says, "I'm only here for the cake." So I'm just going to get this trimmed down. The stem was too long, and I'm going to get it laid down on there and just give it a press. We're just going to layer those two up and have those on the side of it. And I think it's a cute little card for a little 4-year-old. Very colorful and playful. And, of course, he loves numbers, so he'll love that. And then we've got some glossy accent on the hat and the cake icing. And it's just a cute little fun set. So I've taken a close-up picture. I hope you like it. If you do, consider hitting the like. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.